So today I am actually going to do kind of a follow-up visit on a recent episode that we had done about hiccups. And back in it was episode 43, I talked about hiccups and an herb that is used for it called Shidi. And I thought it was actually kind of an interesting topic just to elaborate on a little bit more just from a Chinese medicine perspective. In Western medicine, we actually don't think too much about hiccups. And for the most part, it's something that people experience transiently, although some people can have it more often and it can become more frustrating for them. But for a lot of people, it's a transient problem. And there's not a whole lot to do in traditional Western medicine for it. So we kind of um, don't spend a lot of time on it. It's thought to be related to irritation in the diaphragm, but nobody clearly knows what hiccups are and how they happen. But in the Chinese medicine literature, they do talk about hiccups, and in the episode we talked a little bit about it, but I'm going to just expand on it a little bit more. It's a little bit more complex um, than initially thought. And in Chinese medicine, the stomach is a warm organ and it likes warmth. And when you have cold in the stomach, that can impair the function of the stomach and the normal flow of the stomach. So, for example, in Chinese medicine, drinking a lot of cold drinks is damaging to the stomach, or eating cold foods like ice cream that can damage the stomach and it can damage the spleen, which together work hand in hand for your metabolism and digestion. And so the the warmth of the spleen and the stomach is really important for good digestive function, metabolism, and really good health in general, because that's where the process of taking in what you eat and converting it into the nutrients for your body begins. It's in the spleen and the stomach in Chinese medicine. And so warmth in the stomach is really important. And lots of cold drinks, icy drinks, ice cream, cold foods, those things over time can impair your spleen and stomach digestion and metabolism. So that's one of the things that we know in Chinese medicine. Now, the other part of that is in hiccups, you have you can have cold that affects the stomach, but it's not just plain old cold. A lot of times, if you just have cold in the stomach, you'll get other symptoms like nausea, vomiting, poor digestion. And so with hiccups, it's not necessarily just cold sitting in your stomach, but with hiccups, you have kind of um, a what's the best word to say it? A contest or a friction between cold and heat within the stomach and in the spleen area. And so it's not just that there's just cold there, but that there's also heat, and they are both in conflicting opposition to one another. And it's that conflicting dynamic that causes that staccato type hiccup that you experience. And so when you treat it, it's not as simple as just warming, because in Chinese medicine, there are excellent herbs for warming. Fresh ginger, for example, is a warming type herb. And we use fresh ginger a lot of times in scenarios where there's just regular cold in the stomach. But in hiccups, it's a slightly different dynamic. And so fresh ginger actually might help for a lot of scenarios. But there's other combinations. And like I talked about last time, an herb like Shidi, it's actually not a warm herb. And but it does specifically help hiccups, and it can be combined with other herbs. One of the most common combinations is to use Shidi with another herb called Ding Xiang, which is a warm herb. And so what that does is it helps to warm the body, starting from the kidneys upward towards the spleen and stomach, and at the same time direct the energy downward from the lungs downward. So it's kind of a dynamic process where you have this uh, this conflict between heat and cool within the spleen and stomach that results in hiccups. So that's a little bit more about it. I just thought it was an interesting topic to flesh out and kind of differentiate from just regular cold in the stomach where you can have nausea and vomiting. But hiccups is actually a little bit different. It's a little bit of an interesting phenomena. So that's it for today, and we'll see you next time.